Hello everyone, I am Karuna and I welcome you all to my channel. In this tutorial, I'll explain different operators available in Python programming language. An operator is a symbol that works on some set of values and generates a result. These values are also known as operands. So here is a simple example of two values, which is 50 and 30, which are added with the help of this addition symbol and generates a result 80. Python offers different operators that makes our task easy. Assignment operator, which is used to assign values to variables. Arithmetic calculations can be done with the help of arithmetic operators. Relational operators are used to compare values. One or more expressions can be combined with the help of logical operators. Augmented operator, also known as shorthand notation in many programming languages, combines an arithmetic operator along with an assignment operator, which helps us to assign the value back to the variable after some calculations. Identity operator is used to compare the identity, which is the memory location of two variables. Membership operator is used to test for membership in a sequence. Bitwise operators, similar to logical operators, work on binary representation of data. Now let's learn about these operators one by one. First, we have assignment operator. Equal to is the assignment operator, which is used to assign value to the variable on the left hand side of the operator. So here 6 is assigned to variable A. As this is ideally shell mode, I can simply write the name of the variable to see its value. We can also perform multiple assignment with the help of this equal to operator. So you can see I have assigned value 7 to variable A and value 6 to variable B. The value on the right hand side can be of any valid data type available in Python. It can be an expression also, which is evaluated and then the value is finally assigned to the variable on the left hand side. Now let's learn about arithmetic operators. These operators are used to perform mathematical operations on numbers. The first one is the plus symbol, which is used to perform addition. Then we have minus symbol, which is used to get the difference of the numbers. In Python, star symbol is used to perform multiplication, returning the product of the numbers. Python has two division operators. The first one is written as single slash. It always returns the answer as a float value, irrespective of the type of the numbers provided to it, whether they are integer or a floating point value. The answer will always be a floating point number. If in our Python programs we do not need this fractional part, we can discard it with the help of this double slash. This operator is known as a floor division operator, in which the whole number is returned as the output and the fractional part is discarded. And you can see in the above example, when 8 was divided by 3 using single slash, after the decimal point we had 666 and 5. So that has been removed from the numbers by writing 8 double slash 3. If I write 8.0 and then I divide it by 3, so you can see the answer will automatically change to a floating point number, though the fractional part is 0, but the answer will represent itself as a floating point number. Based on these division operators, we have one more operator which returns the remainder when one number is divided by another number. So if I divide 56 by 2, the remainder comes out to be 0. If it is an odd number and I divide it by 2, I'll get the remainder as 1. If we try to perform this modulus operation on numbers, let's say like this, so 5 is smaller than 8, so no floating point division will take place and 5 digit will be given as the output, making it a remainder. Now we have exponential operator, which calculates one number raised to power another number. So here 6 raised to power 2 6 is the base, 2 is the exponent. It is calculated and the answer is returned as 36. All of these operators are binary operators which require two operands to perform their task. In Python, we have unary arithmetic operators also. We have unary plus and unary minus. So let's say if I write a equal to 8 and I write minus a, this will change my positive number 8 to a negative number. Now you can see in the above statement minus a, this requires only one operand, so that's why we call it a unary minus operator. We can also write a equal to plus 8. As you already know that positive numbers do not require this plus symbol, so it is hardly going to change my value and the number will be stored as a positive number. In all the above examples, you can see that I have used only numbers with these operators, but in Python, the addition symbol and the multiplication symbols can be implemented using strings also. So this is an example where the plus symbol is used with string values. Now plus, instead of adding them like numbers, it will simply concatenate or join these two words and the result will be hi bye. If we use multiplication operator with a string like this, then it will multiply the word Python 5 times. So the answer comes out to be a string which contains the word Python 5 times. Relational operators are used to compare values. Python has 6 relational operators which can be used on almost all the data types like numbers, strings, lists, and tuples. Now let's begin with writing some relational expressions in Python IDLE. This is a less than symbol, then greater than symbol, less than equal to, greater than equal to, equal to. Please note that this operator is different from the assignment operator. In assignment operator, we use only one single equal to, which assigns the value on the right hand side to the variable on the left hand side of the operator. In double equal to, we compare values for equality, and a true value is returned if the numbers are equal, otherwise it returns a false value. Then we have a symbol for inequality also. It compares two numbers for inequality. As you can see, 7 is not equal to 8, so the result of this expression is true. These relational expressions return a boolean true or a boolean false value. They work on some principles like if I write 4 equal to 4.0, then from 4.0, 0.0 will be truncated and the numbers will be treated equal. Strings are compared in the lexicographical order, the order in which they appear in dictionary. This lexicographical order is implemented using the ASCII codes or the Unicode available in Python. To check the ASCII code of any letter, we can use the ORD function like this. The number which has been returned by this function is the ASCII code of capital A. Now let's check the ASCII code for small a. Now you can clearly see that the ASCII code of lowercase a is greater than the ASCII code of uppercase A, which means all the lowercase letters are greater than the uppercase letters. The ASCII codes of capital A to Z are from 65 to 90, and for small a to small z it is 97 to 122. Now if you want to know a character from the given ASCII code, you can use the CHR function. So you can see that 70 is the ASCII code of capital F. That means strings will be compared according to their ASCII codes. So if I write a word smart, all the letters in lowercase, and I write the word smart with only the first letter written in uppercase, then these two strings will not be treated equal. because the ASCII code of lowercase s is different from the ASCII code of uppercase s. If we write a string like this, smart, and I want to know whether it is smaller or greater than a string like smarter. Now you can see smart is not greater than smarter because the string on the right hand side, that is smarter, has more number of characters, so obviously it becomes the greater string. Logical operators are used to combine expressions. Operands for these operators can be relational expressions, numbers, or strings. It is important to note that the operands needed by these operators must be of Boolean types. So let's begin with our first logical operator, NOT. NOT is a unary operator because it works on one operand. It reverses the value of the expression, that is, true becomes false and false becomes true. Let's see a few examples of applying this NOT operator in Python IDLE. First is an example where I am using relational operation inside the bracket. So first, the relational expression 5 less than 2 is evaluated, which returns a false value, and NOT works on that false value, returning as true answer. NOT can also be applied on non-zero values. All the non-zero values will be treated as true. So when NOT works on them, it changes the value true to false. 0 is considered to be a false value. So when NOT will be applied on it, it will make it true. NOT can be used on all the negative and positive integrals. So if I write -9, as -9 is a non-zero value, it is considered to be true and the final answer will be false. NOT can also be used with all the floating point values also. So it is important to remember that non-zero values are true and all the zero values will be considered as false. Logical AND operator. This operator evaluates to true if both of its operands are true and false if both or either of the operands are false. So in this table you can see I have two operands A and B. The value of A and B are the combinations of true and false values. So when A and B both are true, the expression will result into a true value. Otherwise, the expression A and B will generate a false result. So let's see some examples of logical AND operator. AND is a binary operator because it will require two operands to perform the task. So here I have two relational expressions and I combine them using the AND operator. 5 less than equal to 7 becomes true and 2 equal to 0 gives me a false result. So true and false will result into a false value. In case of AND operator, if the first operand in an expression x and y is false, then it returns the first operands, otherwise it will always return the y value. So let's see the examples when integers are used with the AND operator. So if I write 8 and 0. Now in this case 8 is a non-zero value and 0 will be considered as false. Now because the first expression, that is 8, is true, so the second expression will be evaluated, which is false, and the answer will have the value of the second operand. If I write 0 and 9, then in this case, because the first expression or the first operand is coming out to be false, it will not evaluate the second operand, which is 9, and will return the value 0 in the answer. Which means the AND operator will test the second operand only if the first operand is true. Logical OR operator, if the value of both or one of the operands is true, then the expression will return a true answer. Otherwise, the answer will be false. So in the table given here, you can see when both A and B are false, the result of A or B will be a false value. Otherwise, it will return into a true value. Now let's see some examples of logical OR operator. Logical OR is also a binary operator as it requires two operands to get the work done. So you can see here I have written two relational expressions, 9 greater than equal to 3 or 5 not equal to 4. The first expression, 9 greater than equal to 3, will result into a true value, and 5 not equal to 4 will also return a true value. So the answer will be true. In an expression, when relational and logical operators are combined, then the priority is given to the relational operators. First they get evaluated and then the logical operators start their task. OR operator can also be used on the integer values like this. So 40 represents a non-zero value. As I already mentioned, it is considered to be true, and I write 40 or 0. Because the first expression is a true value and the result of OR will be true if either of the operands is true, so the answer of this expression will be 40. If I write 0 or 3, then also the answer will be a non-zero value. Now in the first expression, 40 or 0, the first operand was evaluated as true, so this was given in the answer. Whereas in the expression 0 or 3, the first expression was false. That's the reason second operand was evaluated, which was returned in the answer. Identity operator is used to compare the memory location of two variables. Memory location is the place where the value gets stored and the variable or the object points to that location. In Python, id function can be used to get the memory location of any variable. So you can see I have declared a variable a with value 8, and this is the memory address where the value 8 is stored. In Python, there are two identity operators, is and is not. For this, I'll first create a variable b with value 8. Now if I write a is b, then this will return a true value because the id of a and b is same. That means both of these variables point to the same memory location where the value 8 is stored. But if I write a is not b, then it returns a false value. It is important to understand that this operator is not similar to the double equal to operator, which I have explained in the relational operators topic. Double equal to operator compares the value of two variables, whereas the identity operator compares the id of two variables. Now, there is something very interesting in Python, that if we have numbers from 0 to 256 assigned to variables in different ways, like I initialize variable x with value 256, now I initialize y with x, that means the value of x gets copied to variable y. And I create another variable z wherein I ask the user to input the value of the variable, and I give the same value 256 to variable z. Now let's see the id of all these variables. Id of x, id of y. You can see that id of x and y is same, but if I write id of z, then this is also same because all of these variables point to the same memory location where the value 256 is stored. But if I perform the same operation with a value greater than 256, so let's have another example where a is assigned a value 257, b is assigned the value of a, and I get the value of c from the user. And assign the same value 257 to variable c also. Let's check the id of these variables. id of a is this is the id of b, and id of c, you can see it is different from a and b. You can try it on all the numbers within the range of 0 to 256, and initializing your variables in this manner will help you to understand that all these variables will point to the same memory location. Now if I use my expression A is B, then it returns a true value, whereas writing A is C will give me a false value. Membership operator checks for a value in a string, tuple, or a list. Python has two membership operators, in and not in. So this will be my first example to show you how we can use list in our Python programs. So I am going to check whether 2 exists in this sequence or not. So I've written 2 in 1, 2, 3, 4. The square brackets denote that the value is of type list. Now this in operator will check whether 2 exists in the given sequence or not and returns a true value if the number is found. If I write 5 not in and I write the above sequence only, then this will evaluate to true because 5 is not present in the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the reason a true value is returned. Let's check some values in a string. So if I write here capital O in, because capital O is present in the string Python, this will return a true value. And if we want to use it with a tuple, then we can write a similar example just like a list but using parentheses with the values. So if I write here these values and I use the in operator, this will return a true value. Membership operators are very much used while working with for loops or traversing in a list, tuple, or a string. Bitwise operators work on binary data bit by bit. The operands needed by these operators must be of integer type only. Let's understand the different bitwise operators available in Python. The first one is a bitwise AND operator. This operator returns 1 if both the bits of the operands are 1, otherwise it returns a 0 value. Now let's see how it works. I have a variable A with value 13 and B with value 6. The binary equivalent of A is the number that you can see on the screen. This is the binary equivalent of B. If I perform an operation A and B, then it will result into the binary equivalent of 4. Now to understand this calculation, let's start comparing the bits of A and B from right hand side. From right side, if I see the bit of A, it is 1 and B is 0, results into a 0 bit. The second bit for A and B is 0, 1, again a 0 answer. But in the third place, both A and B are having their bit as 1, which will result into the 1 value in the final answer, which means wherever the bits are 1 for both the operands, it will result into a 1 binary digit, otherwise it will give a 0 binary digit. Next is a bitwise OR operator, also known as inclusive OR. This operator returns 1 if both or either of the bits of the operands is 1. Now here we have a variable A with value 10 and B with value 19. Binary equivalent of A is this number and this is the binary equivalent of 19. Performing A or B will result into a binary number which is equal to the number 27. Now to understand this, we start comparing the numbers bit by bit from the right hand side. You can see the rightmost bit of number A is 0 and B is 1, which results into a digit 1. When the binary digit of both A and B is 1, this also results into a binary digit 1. That means A or B will give a 0 digit only when both the digits of the operand is 0. Here we have the complement operator. This operator simply changes the bit 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. Consider a value 11. This is the binary number of 11. The complement of 11 will be changing all the digits of 11 from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 0. To understand it in a mathematical way, we can simply write the complement of A is equal to minus A minus 1, which means if you try this in Python ideally, then the complement of 11 is equal to minus 12. Now let's understand the binary notation to derive the decimal number from the given complement of 11. We have the binary equivalent of 11, binary equivalent of complement of 11, which is generated by changing the bits from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 0. This is the leftmost bit, which indicates the sign of the number. If the digit is 1, it indicates a negative number. If the leftmost bit is 0, then it indicates a positive number. Now, because the most significant bit here is 1, that means it is very much clear from the binary equivalent of complement of 11 that the number is going to be a negative number. Now let's understand how to get the decimal number from the binary equivalent of complement of 11. By applying this simple rule, we can get the decimal equivalent. We have to start from the right hand side in the binary equivalent of complement of 11. Moving towards the left, we have to copy all the bits one by one until we find the first 1, and after that we are going to reverse all the digits. So this is how it is done. When I apply the conversion, as you can see from the right hand side, the first digit that I encounter is 0, then I have the next one as 0, the third binary digit is 1. Leaving that digit, I am going to replace all the digits with their complement. That means zeros are becoming 1 and ones are becoming zeros, and from this I get the decimal of complement of 11, which is equivalent to minus 12. To make it simple to understand, you can apply the formula minus A minus 1, which will help you to get the complement of any number. Now let's understand the bitwise XOR operator. This operator returns a true value when either of the bits are 1. That means if I compare this operator with inclusive OR, which generates 1 when both the bits are 1 or either of the bits are 1, then XOR will generate a 0 answer when both the bits of the number are 1. Now let's see how it works. We have a variable A with value 8 and B with 9. These are the binary equivalents of A and B. If I write A XOR B, you can see wherever the bit of A and B was 1, it has been changed to 0. But when the bit of A was 0 and B was 1, it has given a digit 1. The final number that comes out as the result of this XOR operation is the binary equivalent of decimal number 1. Now we have bitwise shift operators. This one is a left shift operator which moves the bits of the operand to the left by a specified number. Let's consider a number 16. This is the binary equivalent of 16. If I write 16 left shift 2, then it is going to move the binary digits of number 16 towards the left in 2 steps. That means if you notice, the digit 1 has moved towards the left 2 steps, making all of the bits on the right hand side 0, which turns out to be a binary equivalent of 64. Similarly, we have a bitwise right shift operator also. It moves the bits of the number to the right by a given number. Consider an example of 15. This is the binary equivalent of 15. If I want to move the number 15 towards the right 3 bits, then you can see all the ones which were present on the right hand side have been shifted, and the last binary digit which has been brought to the right hand side of the number is left, making all the other digits towards the left of the number as 0, which results into a binary equivalent of decimal digit 1. Now, bitwise operators are different from logical operators because the logical operators operates on binary truth value, that means true and false, whereas the bitwise operator need binary data and they perform their task bit by bit. Now, while programming, you might not need bitwise operators, but these are used in networking, system programming, and embedded programming. Example, while coding the microcontrollers, you can use the bitwise operators to activate or deactivate the connected devices like motors, sensors, etc. Let's see few examples of these bitwise operators in Python ideally. I'll be using only integer values without assigning them to variables. So I write here 5 and 6. The number comes out to be 4. This I have already explained through various examples how AND generates the result. Then I use the bitwise operator OR, results into 7. Complement of 5, this is the answer. So applying that formula, minus a minus 1, where a is 5 minus 5 minus 1 will give me minus 6, which is the complement of 5. The XOR operator, 4 XOR 2, this has resulted into number 6 by applying the rules of XOR operator. Now let's use a number 7. I'll first show you the binary number of 7 using the bin function in Python, which will give us the binary representation of 7 here. 0b indicates that the number is a binary number. 111 is the binary equivalent. Now if I write 7 left shift 3, that means the digits of binary 7 have been shifted towards the left 3 steps, which results into a number 56. Now we can also cross check the binary equivalent from this expression by using the bin function. You can see all the 3 digits of 7 have shifted towards the left. Similarly, we can use it on any other number. Let's say we write 5 and then I use 4. It results into 0 because binary of 5 is this 101 number, and if I write binary of 5 right shift 4, that means I'm trying to move the digits of decimal number 5 towards the right for 4 steps, making the digits completely vanish and finally resulting into a binary digit 0. So this is how we can implement the bitwise operators in Python ideally. An augmented operator is used to update the current value of a variable, after which the updated value goes back to the same variable. So this includes an assignment operator and an arithmetic operator. Let's consider this case where I have the value of variable x as 6 and I want to add 2 to the current value of x. So the statement would be x equal to x plus 2, making the value of x as 8. Now the statement can also be written in this way: x plus equal to 2, in which with the current value of x 2 is added and the value goes back to the variable x. In this case the value of x will be 10. This augmented expression can be used with almost all the arithmetic operators available in Python. So let's see one more example where I write a variable a with value 2 and I want to calculate 2 raised to power 5. So I'll write here a double star, which is the exponential operator, equal to 5. So this will calculate 2 raised to power 5. That means 32 will be assigned back to the variable a. Now that you have gained knowledge of all the operators available in Python, let's understand how these operators are evaluated when they come together in an expression. So here is the operator precedence from highest to lowest. So you can see in the table, first priority is given to the exponential operator, then unary plus and minus, then comes all the multiplication and division operators, then we have addition and subtraction. Relational operators are evaluated after the arithmetic operators, and then comes the augmented operators, and finally after the evaluation of all the above operators comes the turn for the logical operators. So let's see one example here where the operators are written in an expression and we evaluate it to get the final answer. This is the expression where you can see exponential operator, modulus, subtraction, floor division operator, addition operator and multiplication has been used. Let's see how it gets evaluated. So the first priority, as I already mentioned, is given to the exponential operator. 2 raised to power 3 gets evaluated first, which becomes 8. Then comes the turn for the division or the modulus operator, which is 8 modulus 4, giving the answer as 0. Then we have the division operator. Now in this case, please note that the modulus operator was evaluated before the division operator because it was coming before the division operator in the current expression. So the order also matters in which they are appearing in the given expression. So 10 divided by 5 gets calculated, giving the value 2. Then comes the turn for multiplication operator, and finally the addition is performed where the final answer you can see is 8. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have any doubts or queries related to the topics explained in this tutorial, please mention in the comment section and I would be happy to help you. The link for the worksheet of operators can be found in the description box. If you liked the video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for latest updates. Till then, keep working with smile.